And somewhere out in the world, in San Diego, California, which is much warmer than us, we are going to be joined now by former Marine Marco Chavez. He was deported in 2001 for life. He just returned to America no less than 2 weeks ago, the day before Christmas, after being pardoned by Governor Jerry Brown. An immigration judge ruled that he can return to the United States. Marco is with us today after being deported for 15 years. He came when he was 6 months old. Marco, how are you? And welcome back to America. Marco, I don't hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Good.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us here on the Brad and Squee Show. You have had some journey in life, huh?
I sure did.
It's unbelievable. So I already talked about, you came here when you were 6 months old. You're Mexican descent. That's correct. And you went to elementary school and high school here. So why did you join the Marines? What happened?
Well, the war was going on. I thought I'd, help out.
Did you know about your immigration status at all when you joined the Marines? Did you know that you came here at 6 months? Did you believe you were a U.S. citizen? What was your beliefs when you joined, that you only had a green card? What were your beliefs when you joined the Marines?
Well, I knew I needed the green card, and I had it, so I joined. And after I swore in, I thought, I was set. I thought I was a U.S. citizen for me.
And you grew up here since you were 6 months old, so you knew no other country, right? I mean, you were as patriotic as anybody else you saw what was going on, and you want to defend the country where you're living in, and you joined the Marines. So and then when you were in the Marines, is that what you're saying? You assumed you became a U.S. citizen?
Right. After I swore in, I thought, that was automatic citizenship.
Did you serve in Iraq? Did you make it to Iraq?
No, I did not. Most of my time I did in Camp Pendleton.
And you were honorably discharged?
I sure was.
So what happened after you were honorably discharged? You got out of the Marines. You're honorably discharged. You've never had a criminal issue ever in your life. How'd you get in trouble? What happened?
Being nosy.
Being nosy?
Being nosy, trying to help out. That's it.
Help out with what? You want to share a little bit or no?
Well, it was just, being nosy, finding out what was going on, and that's when the police arrived, and I was at the scene.
Right. So
and
everything
got pinned back to me.
Right. So you were charged with animal cruelty. Was it was it dog fighting?
No, something having to do with a dog getting beat.
Okay. So you went to jail. You pled guilty to this. Whether you did it or not, so many people end up pleading guilty to stuff that they didn't do. Why did you you say you didn't do anything, you were just there watching. Why did your attorney have you plead guilty? And when the attorney had you plead guilty, were you told about your immigration consequences?
Never pleaded guilty.
You never pleaded guilty.
I took it to trial.
Oh, I see. And you lost.
No.
And when you went to trial, did your criminal defense attorney ever say to you, by the way, if you lose a trial, you're going to get deported? Did that discussion ever enter into any thought process? You just assumed I'm either gonna win.
Never came up.
I'm either gonna win and I'm gonna be free, or I'll go to jail and I go to jail and I come out and I'll live my life. Were you ever given an opportunity for a plea deal?
Yes, I was.
What was the plea deal that you turned down?
They were trying to give me 6 months probation.
Right. Now, you realize that had you taken the 6 month probation, you ended up going to jail for being sentenced for over a year, which makes you an aggravated felon, which made you automatically deportable. Had you taken the 6 months on the plea deal, you would never have been deported, because it would have been a crime of moral turpitude. It would have been a crime of moral turpitude, not an aggravated felony. So really, where you were let down by the entire system. You were let down by the criminal judge who never advised you, the district attorney, and certainly your attorney never advised you of any of these facts. Correct?
Right.
Okay. So then you ended up in jail. So what was your life like? You got deported. You spent a year in jail and got deported, right?
No.
What happened?
I paroled to San Diego after that.
I'm sorry?
I paroled to San Diego after that.
Oh, you were paroled to San Diego.
Right.
And then what happened?
I finished my parole, discharged my number.
So you thought everything was good?
After this, right, I thought everything was good. And
Right.
after this 9/11 with the towers,
Right.
immigration got tougher and they decided I was deportable for the crime before.
How did they find you?
Oh, I had an argument on the street with another person. The police came and they felt that, they needed to go ahead and run me through the system. And that's when immigration came around and picked me up.
So you did your time, you were paroled, you went back to your family, you got into an argument on the street, they ran you through the system, and then they handed you over to immigration to deport you.
That is correct.
And you were married at that time?
I was with my wife, yeah.
Yeah, and how many children did you have?
3.
Three U.S. citizen-born children. Now, what year did this happen?
That is correct.
What year did this happen?
This happened in 2001, 2002.
Okay, and your conviction was from when?
From 1997, 98.
From 1997, 1998. So what happened was, after 1996, Clinton and Newt Gingrich changed laws and said that if you're found guilty of any sort of crime of violence in which you sentenced to more than a year, it's an aggravated felony. There's no relief from deportation. Your lawyers, your judges, the district attorney never told you, by the way, if you lose a trial, you're going to get deported. They let you go because this was pre-9/11. After 9/11, the whole world changed. Now all of a sudden they pick you up with a wife, with 3 kids, living here since 6 months old, military veteran, Marine, one mistake in life, and they sent you home. And it's not even sent home because that's never your home. Your home's in America.
No, right.
They sent you to a country you never knew, right?
Right.
So how was that? Take us through living in Mexico. How did it affect your life? How did it affect your relationship with your spouse and your children? Because you were out of the United States for 15 years, living in a country you never saw in your life.
Right.
Tell me how that was.
It was pretty rough. I had to find myself, had to know the people, know the language. Trying to establish myself there.
How did you maintain a relationship with your family, if at all?
Oh, well, we sort of didn't. After a year, she did join me for about a year. Worked, crossed every day, and it was kind of difficult for her. So we decided it was better for the kids and her to be in the U.S.
So after 1 year, I guess it was difficult because you had to travel across the border back and forth, and that's your wife and children. Is that correct?
Right.
And I guess the difficulty
that's what she had to do, yes.
Right. The difficulty of traveling back and forth takes a toll, I assume, on everybody. So
right.
So you lived in Mexico. Were you able to send money home? Was your spouse, your wife, able to send you money to survive, or you kind of lost touch with each other?
We sort of lost touch. I just didn't have the means
to support anybody.
To keep it up.
Right.
Right. Support anybody, to be communicating with anybody. I just had to work it and find a place.
So you just basically had to hustle for 15 years in Mexico. How did you get back to America now? You're in San Diego now. How did you get back to America?
I ran into this person, Hector Barajas, who opened up a veteran deported house and started helping out deported veterans. The ACLU was there trying to doing interviews for veterans. I went, I interviewed with them, and the help came from there.
Mm-hmm. And what I understand is that you made an application to Governor Jerry Brown for a pardon because what happened to you...
The ACLU did that for me.
Right. What happened to you was extraordinarily unfair, being brought to the United States and getting a green card at 6 months old, serving in the military, doing your time for a crime you may or may not have done. It doesn't really matter, but you served your sentence, and then after you even did your parole to be ripped apart from your family and sent to a country you never saw or never even knew after serving your country, that is just extraordinarily unfair on multiple levels. It's cruel. It's beyond unfair. It was cruel. And I'm glad that Jerry Brown saw that. He pardoned you, which allowed you to come back to the United States. You're in San Diego now, and congratulations. Has America changed a lot?
Thank you.
Has America changed a lot?
It sure has.
Yeah?
Sure has.
Are you in culture shock?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
You're not sure yet. So what's going on now with your sons and your ex-wife? Now, they're in Iowa, I understand. You're in San Diego. Have you seen your family?
Right. Not yet. I'm still working on that.
You're still working on it. Now, you've just been back, 10 days now? Not even 2 weeks?
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks.
Right. So what do you have to say to people out there who feel that, deported veterans should return to the United States? What do you have to say about all of this?
Well, deported veterans, they should be taken into consideration. They picked up an arm, fought for the country. They should be given a chance.
I agree. And if we can take anything from what you went through, okay, is that there's two things. One, there's an extraordinary human toll on immigration and deportation and separation of families. It shouldn't be taken lightly.
Right.
It is taken lightly by too many people, including our President of the United States of America. It is taken as a who cares, and it is a human toll on families. It is a tragedy when people get deported and are separated from their families, especially in situations like this. I congratulate you for coming back. I wish I can give you back the 15 years. You can't. And I hope that you and your spouse and your family can get back together again. And what we need to know, and what everyone needs to know, is God forbid you ever get arrested in your entire life, you better meet with a really good immigration attorney and know the consequences before you do anything.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming on. We're running out of time. Former Marine Marco Chavez just returned to the United States, deported, lawfully deported, wrongly deported. There's a difference between being lawfully deported and wrongly deported. You were wrongly deported. The laws don't work. And welcome back to the United States. You're a patriot. Thank you. Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you.